to this video of Kubernetes for beginners. So today we are going to talk about Kubernetes API resource, right? Today we are going to talk about Kubernetes API resource. So today we talk about that. Now, what is a Kubernetes API resource? So the API resource is just the element that you use to talk to the cluster in a simple language, right? So Kubernetes API resource, for example, it is just what you use to talk to the cluster. So we are going to say in Kubernetes, API resources are the endpoint exposed by Kubernetes API server that allow users to interact with the Kubernetes clusters. And when we talk about those API resources, we are talking stuff like pod, config map, secret, namespace. So those are API resources. Those are the elements that you can actually list in the cluster. So for example, let me take you guys into the cluster so that this makes sense. If I go to the cluster right now, right? If I go to the cluster right now, then I type kubectl get pod. It will tell me that I don't have any pod. But for example, if I let's say get pod -a, you will see that I have a lot of pod. Now, if I take kubectl, for example, get secret, these are all the secret. Now, if I say kubectl get config map, these are all the config map. So these elements are called API resource, right? This element are called API resource. I think there's a command called kubectl API resource. Let's see here. You mean API resources? So let's see. So there's this command called kubectl API resources, and this is going to list all the API resource with the short name. For example, binding, endpoint, kubectl get node will list node, kubectl get persistent volume, kubectl get port, and it gives you also the short name. So these are the API resource, meaning that these are the elements that you can use to interact with the cluster, right? You need to tell. It's just like you go somewhere. Let's assume that you go somewhere you don't know people, but you know the name. If you go somewhere, you say, for example, John, somebody will be, hey, my name, yeah. You say, who is John? The person will say, it's me. If you say, for example, who is Eric, he will say, it's me. If you say, for example, who is Michelle, say, it's me. Who is Ryan, say, it's me. So this is just identifier. So when you are talking to the cluster, you need to tell the cluster exactly you need to specify exactly what you are, what element you are talking about. If I want to interact, for example, with daemon set, I'm going to say kubectl, for example, get daemon set. If I want to interact with cron jobs, I will say kubectl get cron jobs. If I want to interact, for example, with app object, I will say kubectl get app project. If I want to interact, for example, with replica set, I will say kubectl get replica set or kubectl get deployment. So these are actually called the API resource. So when you're actually talking to the cluster, you need to specify exactly, just like when you are traveling. When you go to the bus station, you need to tell, when you're buying your ticket, you need to specify exactly where you are going, right? If you want to go, for example, or when you are flying, you go to the airport, you need to specify exactly when you want to buy. Like if I go online right now, I want to travel from here in Houston to, for example, Nigeria, I need to specify exactly I'm traveling to Nigeria. So I need to tell exactly United Airline, American Airline, for example, where I'm going, Air France, exactly the location that I'm going. So when you're talking with the Kubernetes cluster, you also need to specify the resource that you are talking about. And all those resources are called API resource, right? Daemon set, config map, secret, storage class, persistent volume, persistent volume claim. Those are API resource. And to get the list of all the API resource with the version, you just have to type this command kubectl API -resources, and you will go ahead and gives you that. I hope you like this video. See you guys on the next video.